Welcome to NFL Live. A lot of excitement around Aaron Rodgers' arrival at Steelers minicamp today, including from someone who will face him twice a year.
I think it's a good opportunity to put him in the graveyard.
Yeah, remember that when Myles Garrett for Halloween, he put all the quarterbacks' tombstones up in front of his house? And yeah, he has put a few in the graveyard, or at least his graveyard, as we welcome you into the show. By the way, Steelers-Browns, October 12th at 1 p.m., appointment viewing. Marcus Spears, Tim Hasselbeck, Adam Schefter here. Swagu, you defensive guys, y'all are mean. What's up with that?
It's kind of gotta be in your blood, Boogie. First of all, it's great to be back with y'all. It's gotta be a part of who you are. I tell everybody, every defensive player that's ever played in the league has a little bit of crazy in them. And we want to do harm to other human beings when we out there on the field, whether we want to admit it or not. So Miles shares in that trait with a long lineage of guys, including myself.
Yeah, including me. I'm like that too. All right, new on NFL Live. Just moments ago, we heard from Aaron Rodgers for the first time since signing with the Steelers.
Some things improved a little bit where I felt like I could fully be all in here with the guys. Had a great conversation with Mike throughout the entire process and Omar. But it's good to get that done and get behind us. I don't need it. For my ego, I don't need it to keep playing. A lot of decisions that I've made over my career and life from strictly the ego, even if they turn out well, are always unfulfilling. But the decisions made from the soul are usually pretty fulfilling. So this was a decision that was best for my soul. And I felt like being here with Coach T and the guys that got here and the opportunity here was the best for me. And I'm excited to be here.
Soul searching. Okay, Adam, what can you tell us about Rodgers' first day with the Steelers?
Well, it started out with him delivering a message of similar note to what he told reporters later in the day, Laura. He told his team after weeks of speculation about when he would sign and whether he would show up, that he was fully committed, all in, ready to go to work and be there with the rest of his teammates. And that work began right away today with his first practice as a Pittsburgh Steeler. This essentially was his onboarding. These few days of mandatory minicamp are his version of orientation, where he can begin to work with his teammates, learn his coaches, see the offense, experience his new city, his new home. But that was what he told his team this morning. He's all in and ready to get to work with them.
Chef, it's a great point. You know what I feel like every offseason? I feel like Aaron Rodgers is that boyfriend that wants to come back in the summer and reel you back in because he got a lot of good trips planned. And I feel like it keeps happening to me. And this Pittsburgh thing, as you all know, we've been on before. I've been directly opposed to it because I thought it would keep Pittsburgh in the same situation that they've been in, that we've talked about ad nauseum a minimum of the last 5 years. Obviously, they made a draft pick to get Kenny Pickett and thought that he would be their long-term answer. So I got to give them credit for that. But my question is, what does this do for your organization if you don't win big? And I'm not sure. I'm never going to write Pittsburgh off. They made the playoffs with guys like Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. So I think they can get into postseason play. Therein lies my conundrum. How far do you get in the playoffs if you're not going to get to a Super Bowl that causes yourself to be picking in the 20s or the late 20s once again? And do you have to go into another offseason trying to figure out how to maneuver to potentially get your franchise guy? Obviously, Aaron's age and where they are as a franchise brings about a lot of those questions for me.
Listen, I think when you look at it, though, 1 year, $13.5 million for a guy that, I guess 3 years ago was dominating the NFL. Look, Marcus, you're right. Like, there's no guarantee that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the Aaron Rodgers, the MVP caliber Aaron Rodgers. But he does bring hope at a minimum this time of year. Hope that Mason Rudolph doesn't bring you right now. Or Will Howard, doesn't bring you right now. So I think you have that. And I think the fact that you're getting him on a deal that is quite frankly, like much lower than I was anticipating on a one-year deal for Aaron Rodgers. So, in this world where, quarterbacks, on long-term contracts are making, over $50 million, to get Aaron Rodgers on a one-year deal less than $15 million, and he could easily throw 32 touchdowns and 6 picks and give your team a chance. I actually think that's pretty good living for Pittsburgh.
Tim, I don't disagree with you. I think we talking about two different situations. I'm focused on more the prism from Pittsburgh, right? Like, I think Aaron will be fine with Pittsburgh. He actually had some great moments, or really good moments, with the New York Jets. My thing is this. Do you think Will Howard is going to benefit from Aaron being in the building and he potentially becomes your franchise quarterback? Because the reality is Aaron is not going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers into the future. More than likely, this is a one-year deal. And we've seen them in this position before. My question is more about Pittsburgh and their plan going forward, so we not having this conversation when Aaron Rodgers decides to leave or retire or it doesn't go well. But it's really not based on him. I think they got a really good situation with Aaron.
No, I don't. Listen, I think it's legitimate. I mean, look, I don't think Will Howard's going to end up being their answer anyway, which is why he was drafted where he was drafted. But I think ultimately, when you look at kind of how this affects the team, look, they're never going to be bad enough with their coaching and their defense to be picking at the very top. So when that's the case, you're always going to be searching for a quarterback some other way.
By the way, Swagu, you said that Aaron Rodgers is like that boyfriend that keeps coming back in the summer. He's married now. He confirmed that he's married today, so it can't be the boyfriend anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Well, no boyfriend no more.
Swagu,
Congratulations.
in the next commercial break, he's going to be looking up that tea. He didn't say who he's married to, though. All right.
We're excited about him being here. He's excited about being here. But we'll make no bold predictions. We're just going to roll our sleeves up and go to work and let our efforts do the talk. Physical repetitions in June for a guy with 20 years experience is not that significant. It's very significant for a guy with no snaps.
I'm going to learn the offense, and Arthur and I are going to talk a bunch this summer. And if there's things that I like that I'd like to see in the offense, Arthur, I'm sure, is going to put it in. But he knows how to call a game. I know how to get us in the right spot based on what's called. There's 2 or 3 plays called in the huddle sometimes. My job is to get us in the right play.
Just football, right? Okay. Our Steelers reporter, Brooke Pryor, at practice, there for everything today. Brooke, what did you see from Rodgers in his first on-field action?
Well, Laura, Aaron Rodgers said he wants to be a servant leader. Right now, he's just getting adjusted to being a part of this team. And to do that, he went 4th in the individual QB reps during practice today. It was Mason Rudolph and then Skylar Thompson, then Will Howard, and then Aaron Rodgers as he gets kind of a lay of the land. But his message to the team today was the same thing he told us. I'm told that at 8 a.m. in the team meeting, he went in there after Mike Tomlin talked and told everyone that he was all in.